Well, it was just last week that US President Donald Trump said he must be involved in picking the next supreme leader of Iran. And he said Mojtaba, the son of the former Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was, quote, unacceptable. Well, according to Iranian state TV, Mojtaba Khamenei has now been chosen as Iran's new supreme leader. Joining us live for more immediate reaction is the political analyst Joe Siracusa. So no comment yet from the president. Joe, that'll come, but what now?
Well, I think President Trump is going to have to sit around with his advisors and his cabinet and decide how to message this. Can you not deal with this man? I mean, if you don't, are you going to march troops through to downtown Tehran? I mean, the option, the alternative here is either to accept that you've rattled these people, and he has delivered the message. You know, he's let the Ayatollah know that he could not do what he wanted to do. The Iranians are taking a heavy punishment here, so the president has to be very smart. Now, as you know, the war is deeply unpopular in many parts of the United States, even among MAGA people, including, Marjorie Taylor Greene. So the president's going to have to be very clever about how to turn some lemons into lemonade here. He has to give the impression that he has limited objectives, because to give the impression that he's in for the long haul, which is another forever war, is not going to do him any good. And he, of course, he's underwater in terms of popularity. And keep in mind, in a couple months, his party has to go to the polls and explain to the American people why gasoline is $1 more a gallon.
Well, just while we've got these pictures up, and I'll get to that in a moment, because it is an important part of this story when you're talking about things close at home in the United States. But this is on state TV right now, Joe, and you got people on the streets who are celebrating, and no doubt it's a form of propaganda. Anything on state TV would be. But, I mean, I guess the question is, how long before Mojtaba's taken out? Because no doubt he's already in the sights of the Israelis and the Americans.
Oh, yeah, look, I don't think I'd want his job. And it's the poison chalice. I mean, he's already been, they've been told the next guy's going to have to face the wrath of Donald Trump. Look, he probably took the short straw here. He might not have had too much choice. He's going to try to get some protection. But the idea that these people are in the street, and in your last package, the lady pointed out these guys don't have air raid shelters. I mean, where the hell are they going to go? So, if I think this fellow here is going to have to come up with his own messaging. He's going to have to be there has to be some back channels or backdoor diplomacy, because I think he has to get out of this. And also, I think your audience should remember that this isn't an ordinary war. I mean, these are not armies going to marching to some hill and fighting each other. These are people lobbing bombs and missiles and drones on each other every other day. So, I mean, how long can this go on before people say this is enough? And of course, the inflation thing is coming right around the corner.
Well, back to the Supreme Leader. I mean, does it really matter who the Supreme Leader is if it's the Revolutionary Guard that's really the ones in control?
Oh, yeah, it doesn't make any difference who he is. He could be Uncle Charlie. It doesn't make any difference. The guard's in control of this. I have a hunch that the people pulling the levers are doing things that they're not asking the council anymore. They're just doing their own things. And keep in mind that in Iran, it's been sort of decentralized. That is, various regions, the guards in various regions are doing their own thing. I reckon there's not too much coordination in one respect, because they're afraid to come together. They're afraid to talk to each other, to give away their whereabouts and the like. So I got a hunch some of these people will be working at cross purposes. And Pete, attacking your neighbors when the United States is your enemy is not a good idea.
Well, I mean, I do want to get to that. Yeah. Look. Let's get to a bit of that, because that's important. Because it's hitting its fellow neighbours, and there was something of an apology on the weekend by Iran's foreign minister. I don't know what that means, because the attacks have continued, including an attack on Bahrain and its water desalination plant, which, as you know, is water's just as valuable as oil is to the Middle East, because not many nations have fresh water. So what's it doing here? Is it sort of cutting off its nose to spite its face kind of thing?
Well, I think the apology was to tell the Gulf states that he's not in control. It's sort of like a message from somebody who's been kidnapped. I'm apologize for attacking you, and by the way, I had nothing to do with it. It suggests that the lines of communication have broken down behind Iranian lines, and of course, this desalinization. as your audience may or may not know, some of these countries there, 90% of their water, their fresh water, comes from these desalination plants. And if you start hitting these plants, it's a good time to buy stock and bottled water, because these people are going to be hard pressed for air conditioners and for growing things and stuff like that, and drinking water and stuff like that.
Well,
I mean, this war is getting down to the nitty gritty very quickly.
yeah, I mean, and I presume this was all part of the late Ayatollah's plan, you know, to sow chaos and destruction in the event of his death, and it didn't matter where it was, whether it was all throughout the Middle East or whatever. But just a final point here, and just further to that, and the problems that Donald Trump will face coming into the midterms, particularly as you point out, the cost of oil going up might get to 120 US a barrel. That's the forecast by JP Morgan. It's already about 90 US a barrel. That's up $30 or so over the past couple of weeks. And then you've got the death toll that has climbed again. Now it's 7 US service members, Joe. So, I mean, yeah, this is a problem from within.
The inflationary pressure is enormous. This war is costing about $1 billion a day. Cost $3 billion to get started in the first 100 hours, and this is going to create all kinds of problems for the reserve banks, who are then going to lift the interest rate for automobiles, houses, and pretty soon everything's going to go up. I mean, Trump is going to have to address this very, very clearly. I mean, the American people are not going to suffer because he doesn't have a plan. But it's important, you know, to have a plan. And by the way, finally, on that last Ayatollah, Pete, he didn't have a plan. You know, his plan B was, there was no plan B. These guys have been bluffing for 47 years. And what Donald Trump did was he called their bluff, and they had nothing to show.
Okay. Always good to talk to you, Joe Siracusa. On this Monday morning, thank you. We'll chat again soon.